No Country for Old Men is an incredibly impressive film, which doesn't necessarily need to be saying. I feel like most people are aware of this. It has 8.2 out of 10 across 1.1 million reviews and ratings on IMDb, which is absolutely incredible. However, I didn't know if it would necessarily be my kind of film. It is absolutely one of those films where I watched it purely because of somebody who's in it. Woody Harrelson is in this, and I ended up really thoroughly enjoying it. This was released in 2007. It's written and directed by Joel Coen and Ethan Coen, and we have a cast including Tommy Lee Jones, Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, of course Woody Harrelson, Kelly MacDonald. Great cast, great performances, interesting narrative that I didn't think would be for me, but I really enjoyed it. I'll read the description from IMDb because I don't want to give away too much. I might go into a tiny bit more detail than this, but I won't go into too much detail. And IMDb says, violence and mayhem ensue after a hunter stumbles upon the aftermath of a drug deal gone wrong and over $2 million in cash near the Rio Grande. Basically, at the start of the film, our hunter in question, this is Moss, played by Josh Brolin, happens upon this horrific scene, as the description said, the aftermath of a drug deal, and he finds the drugs and he finds the cash and he helps himself a little bit, and well, things become very dangerous and very risky after that, and I'll say no more than that. There's a lot of substance to the narrative. Very, very well written, very strong story from start to finish. It was so engaging. I will say, did we have to include the dogs in this, though? I won't go into any more detail than that, but if you're sensitive about dogs being treated unkindly, to say the very least, it's very impactful. It also probably says a lot that I can look at the humans in a similar situation and not necessarily have a strong emotional response, but I look at the dog and it's just absolutely heartbreaking. I feel like that's generally a common response because the dogs are helpless in this. And I just thought after the first one, really, do we have to keep doing this? So the dog aspect I could have done without, but the rest of it, absolutely fantastic. And let's face it, the dog's involvement just makes it all the more powerful, all the more emotional. And it is an emotional roller coaster. I felt quite a lot of different things with this one. Very immersive story, very easy to feel like we're there, like we're on this action-packed, fast-paced narrative. There are times when it's a little slower, of course. We get time to slow things down and to fully absorb what's happening and to absorb the emotions of the characters. The performances are fantastic. It's beautifully shot from start to finish. And I guess I'm very thankful to Woody Harrelson that I had a reason to watch this, because I feel like it's one of those films I would have watched eventually. I don't think I've seen it before. I feel like I would have remembered it. And it could have been a film that somebody put on when I was like at their house or something. I might have seen bits and pieces of it here and there, but certainly I don't think I'd ever sat down to watch it, and I would have remembered it for sure. It's a very memorable film, and I'm so glad that I had a reason to watch it, because I wouldn't have done Based on Paper, as I was about to say before I interrupted myself, probably eventually, because it's one of those films that everybody says you have to see, and I now completely understand why. No Country for Old Men is, without question, an incredibly powerful film, a really great experience, and I wouldn't mind watching it again. I probably would never actively choose to watch it just because I prefer to watch films I haven't seen before, but if I ever have the reason to watch it, if I'm in a hotel or something and it happens to be on TV, absolutely, this can get my full attention. Fabulous film, very, very well done, and if you haven't seen it, then needless to say, I can now join all of the people who say it's a film you have to see before you die. No Country for Old Men is pretty fantastic.